70, very few people would have given any thought to the fact that the indigenous people of this hemisphere do not look upon the arrival of the European invaders as a reason to give thanks. Today, many thousands stand with us in spirit as we commemorate our 45th National Day of Mourning. And to our beautiful Native youth, this is what I say. Learn about and remember what your ancestors went through to bring you here. We are like the dirt, we are like the sand, and we are like the tides. We shall endure. Now, in the spirit of Crazy Horse, in the spirit of Metacom, and in the spirit of Geronimo, we are not vanishing. We are not conquered. We are as strong as ever.
Now we are gathered into the circle. We think today of so many who cannot be with us, whether they are ill or could not travel, or whether they are imprisoned. We remember the homeless people, especially right now thinking of those who are staying at the Long Island shelter in Boston and have been displaced even from that shelter. And yet the city of Boston thinks it will be okay to waste billions of dollars on having the Olympics in Boston. We feel the presence of many who have gone before us into the spirit world. Think now of the spirit who is standing beside you. We think of the many murdered and missing Indigenous women whose lives have been lost in the epidemic of violence directed against Native women. We think of the 43 students missing in Ayotzinapa in Mexico, and of the thousands more who have vanished, mostly because of U.S. economic and drug policy. We think of the families in Washington State trying to heal from the school shooting near the Tulalip Reservation there. We think of the families that have been torn apart because of the deportation policies of the U.S. government, and of the people who have died in the desert trying to get here. We think of Michael Brown and the people of occupied Ferguson, and we think of all the young men and the young women, the children who have been murdered by the police. No mother anywhere should ever have to mourn the death of a child due to the violence of the state. We demand an end to stop and frisk and to the ongoing violence against black and brown women and men in the U.S. You know, most of us here are not very complicated in our needs. We want to love whoever we want, raise our families in peace, drink clean water, eat nourishing food, breathe clean air. We need jobs and decent schools. We need more affordable housing. We need to make a living wage with real benefits. As I was cooking food yesterday for our potluck, I was thinking about how food, or the lack of it, has been used as a weapon against Native people for centuries. George Washington, who was indeed the father of the U.S., ordered the burning of dozens of Haudenosaunee towns and cornfields. They called him Town Destroyer. He destroyed at least 50 villages and caused hundreds to starve and freeze to death as a result. I hear some of the politicians and media this week talking about looting, since property is clearly more important to them than human lives.
Right.
I wonder, how can they talk about looting? These are people who live on stolen land, in a country built by stolen labor, fueled by raw materials and resources stolen from other countries.
Right.
That is looting.
That's right. Right. That's right.
Here we are, looking over the beautiful water in Plymouth Harbor. Water is what we live in before we are born, what our bodies are largely made of. Yet the corporations are poisoning the water and the earth, truly poisoning our mother. Indigenous people are on the front lines of hundreds of struggles right now against corporate pollution and environmental destruction, whether it's the tar sands, or uranium mining, or fracking, or spill-off into communities near lakes. Many of you have heard of the Keystone XL pipeline. We have had a victory and have been able to halt the Keystone XL pipeline for now. For now. But there will be more votes coming up on that, no doubt, and at least a dozen more pipelines are in the works. An 11-year-old girl and dozens more people were arrested just this past week in protest over an expanded pipeline near Vancouver at Burnaby Mountain. In North Dakota, Montana, and Saskatchewan, the Bakken oil fields are assaulting the land and air and the water under the ground. A handful of people are profiting from this without concern for the future. There, too many of our communities now are overrun with violence, with meth and heroin addictions, which can seem like another epidemic for us, like smallpox. It's all too easy for us to talk about the many negative things that our people deal with. But I also see youth who are serious and working hard to get an education so that they can serve their people. I see elders who stop and take the time to teach the youth important things that will carry them into the future. There is so much beauty in our cultures. We can seek inspiration from the heroic youth and students who are largely leading the way in the life and death struggle to save the earth. Youth and students are leading the way in the protest against police brutality, from Oakland to D.C., from Ferguson to New York City and Boston. And we know today that people disrupted the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Thousands of people turned out in Boston on Tuesday night, and in New York City, protesters blocked many streets and bridges. And this is not just going to end, this is going to keep going on. You know, sometimes things seem so hard, like they're never going to get better. But things can and must change. We have no right to give up, to lose hope, or to stop struggling. We have an obligation to resist. From Ferguson to Plymouth, protest is our right. Hope. There are many political prisoners in this country. That is, people who are imprisoned simply because of their political beliefs. Their numbers include Leonard, Oscar Lopez Rivera, Mumia Abu Jamal, and many more. For those of you who may not know about him, in 1977 he was wrongfully convicted of the murders of 2 FBI agents on the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. The government violated his constitutional rights, coerced witnesses, tampered with evidence, and in many other ways made sure that he was framed up and put in prison, and he had kept him there for almost 40 years now. Even the federal prosecutor admitted that no one knows who fired the fatal shots. Since the courts for decades have refused to overturn Leonard's conviction, his defense committee is seeking clemency from President Obama before he leaves office. Leonard is also an artist, an internationally known human rights activist, and a defender of indigenous peoples and prisoners. He's in declining health, as you'll hear. His defense committee asks that everyone please donate to the blanket dance today. People will be going through the crowd with a shawl. That's our blanket dance. Please be as generous as you can so that they can keep going, and especially so that they can pay Leonard's lawyers. We are so honored today to have a message directly from Leonard, which will be read by another elder, Bert Waters. Bert wants me to tell you that he's 84.
All right.
Amazing.
This is from Leonard Peltier. Greetings, my relatives, friends, and supporters. I was thinking about the national holiday, Thanksgiving, the other day. I won't even go into what a horrible shame this American holiday is based on. Instead, I will just let it remind me of the common bond I have with all my brothers and sisters of the earth. Even if Thanksgiving, the holiday, is based on an incorrect portrayal of history, the concept of being thankful is a universal truth. I mean, let's face it, being thankful, grateful, has been part of Indian nations much longer than the invention of a holiday. I admit there are days in here when I find it very hard to be thankful, but it does not take much to bring it back for me. Most days I get cards, letters from people all over the world. Sometimes I can even smell the soil, the pines, and sometimes even fry bread in the paper that is sent to me. I hear stories of your lives, your troubles, your children, your jobs. Oh, there is some word for that, but I cannot think of it now. But I get a sense of life through all of you, and I am thankful for that. I often want to reach out and help you sometimes. I would love to come work on your cars, or help you build your sweat lodges, or even just mow your lawn. I miss helping people, and I hate asking for help, which it seems is all I do. In here, I'm able to focus on the simple things of life. You have no idea how cool it is just to get a new pair of socks. In the last few months, I have really been feeling my age, and I am so very thankful for all the support that you have given to me. I won't lie, it has been a rough time lately, but I am hopeful that is changing. My people have always had a deep and connected relationship with the sun, and I realized the other day just how much I missed the sun. When I had the sun's light upon me, I felt stronger. These walls hold out the sun's energy, and it weakens me. When you miss something, it's easier to be thankful for things you do have. My friend and spiritual advisor, Lenny Foster, visited me recently and reminded me of some basic things I have to be thankful for. I have watched him age over all these years, and I am thankful for him and his wisdom. He sang with me and prayed with me, and I felt a bit of the sun again. I guess my point is that we can find the things we need in places we may not expect. I can always pray. This can never be taken away from me. And through that prayer, I can keep the sun and hope alive. And so, on this day, Thanksgiving, I will choose to be thankful and not to celebrate tyranny. I will also pray for you and with you. I pray for each and every one of you, whether you support me or not. I pray that your lives will be full of meaning and you will find new ways to learn. I pray for your strength and that you will always stand up for the things you know are right. I pray that each one of you find a way to protect our Mother Earth. She is crying out for us to hear her. I pray that you will listen to your inner wisdom and let it guide you to make choices that will help each other, and that you will be examples of those still learning their way in this life. I pray that you will be present with the moments you have. Enjoy the simple things in life, like the sun, the dirt, the air, the water, and that you would protect them as you would your own children. I pray that you will look for opportunities to lift up your sisters and brothers and not bring them down. I pray that you grow and enjoy good natural food. I pray that you savor the attention of your loved ones. I pray that you build protective bridges of peace in those you oppose. I pray that when others make bad choices, you'll help them find positive solutions. I pray for understanding in times of misunderstanding. And yes, I pray very deeply, honestly, that I can go home for a little while before I cross over to the spirit world. I am with you always, and I feel your prayers too. I am always grateful for your support, your love, your friendship, your letters and contact you give me with life. It is harder for me to physically see well enough to write letters these days. So please forgive me if I don't write back. It is not that I don't want to. Know that I am often sitting and thinking of you and being thankful for all of you. Your old, thankful friend and brother, in the spirit of Crazy Horse, Leonard Peltier. Mitakuyu Ayasin.